Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review here. There are several things you can do to your landscape that will make it more attractive to birds and butterflies. The more needs you can meet, the more attractive your landscape will be to them. The three basic needs are shelter, food, and water. Together these form an animal's habitat. The closer you recreate a habitat, the more likely you are to attract the species that use that kind of habitat. So a forest is one kind of habitat, so are lakes, prairies, and many others. Where two or more habitats meet, they create an edge. Each edge habitat is a unique combination of surrounding habitats. It will have some of the plants and animals of the original habitats, and may have plants and animals that are unique to that particular kind of edge habitat. Some animals and plants thrive in only one habitat, others thrive in several different kinds. They may use different habitats in summer and winter, or during migration. There are overall climate influences that help determine whether each kind of habitat develops. One reason that many cities look so much alike is that urban climates are very demanding on both plants and animals. Across the northern two-thirds of the continent, the urban habitat is made up of trees, shrubs, and wildlife that thrive in hot, dry summers and cold, salty winter urban conditions. The suburban environment is more like an edge habitat between the forest and prairie. There are areas of shade trees and shrubs mixed with sunny areas that are open at spaces of lawn. Every landscape is part of a larger habitat. Your landscape may stop at the property lines, but the habitat continues on. Each landscape interacts with the surrounding landscapes for air, animals, drainage, shade, sunlight, water, and weed seeds. One more component of every habitat is its age. A newly planted 6-foot tall oak does not provide the food and shelter that a 60-foot tall oak provides. All wild and man-made landscapes grow and mature. As this happens, the trees will influence their surroundings. Eventually, new shade-tolerant plants will need to be planted under the trees in your landscape. As the landscape matures, the type of birds that use it will change also. When large trees die or are cut down, shady areas become sunny, and the plants and animals living underneath it need to adapt or die. This is occurring in many forest preserves as emerald ash borers kill large numbers of ash trees across the northeastern part of the United States. When a new subdivision is built, the landscape is immature and more open, providing shelter for animals that like grasslands with a few shrubs. People who use bird feeders in new subdivisions often get finches, sparrows, and other open field birds. More mature landscapes with large trees are more likely to attract forest habitat birds like nuthatches, woodpeckers, and chickadees to their bird feeders. 5 years after planting, most shrubs are nearing the full size, and trees are only beginning to get large. Another 25 years down the road, and the trees are beginning to reach a productive size, and the shrubs are dying out or may need to be replaced. In each of these stages, adding more plants maximizes diversity, and that increases the variety of birds and other animals that can use your landscape. So what's all this mean to me? Habitat destruction is often cited as a primary reason that many plant and animal populations are declining. Only a tiny amount of prairie and wetland habitats remain as they were before draining, farming, and urbanization occurred. Much of the farming landscape is flat. Flatlands does not drain very quickly. Large areas of flatlands are now being farmed because the land has been drained, not because of the invention of the self-scouring plow. Many of these lands can be restored as wetlands just by plugging up the drain tiles. Many subdivisions are built on formerly wet prairie farmlands. Care must be taken to keep basements dry due to high water tables. As more developments occur upstream in those flat lands, flooding after rains is more and more likely. Retention and detention ponds are not always capable of holding the water delivered to them. So you have to be careful on the flatland areas when you put in the subdivision. Where is all that water going to go? What is it going to do for the habitat in your yard and the habitat in the surrounding areas? Another what's this mean to me? Most of the eastern and midwestern woodlands are very different from what the pioneers saw because they no longer have chestnut trees that used to dominate many of the forests. They also lost most of the elms, and ash trees are now dying out in large areas. Oaks are not being naturally replaced, so our forests don't look like the forests that the settlers saw. Many bird species that use woodland habitats require large forest areas that are not broken into small pieces by prairie or edge habitats. Many of the remaining woodlots have homes and streets within the wooded areas, and development creates large areas of edge habitat within the woodland that makes the woodlot unsuitable for birds such as tanagers, a lot of warblers, pileated woodpeckers, and the list goes on. Another what's this mean to me? During the development time frame in the first 100 years or so after the first settlers, all of the Midwestern bison herds were eliminated. The brown-headed cowbird used to follow the migrating bison. The female cowbird is a nest parasite. She lays her eggs in the nests of other birds. Since bison migration patterns change every year, the cowbirds did not repeatedly parasitize the same area very often. After the bison were eliminated, the cowbirds did not migrate, and they did not stay along the edge of the prairie to keep following the herds. They now not only repeatedly parasitize all the areas of the Midwest, they parasitize deeper into the woodlands because the woodlots are now mostly edge habitats due to the development of those woodlands. The parasitized nests now raise more cowbirds than ever before, and a lot of the woodland bird species are in decline. So, what does all that mean? If you're going to have a habitat that attracts birds and butterflies, plant a diversity of plants, add water, and consider what the rest of your landscape outside of your area, your exact landscape is. What are outside the other property lines? What are you sharing? Maybe there's a pond nearby that you're sharing, and so you don't have to provide water in your yard, but you can do more shelter in your yard, for instance. So look at your landscape and see if you can attract more birds and butterflies. And this is Jeff with a Greener View. Thanks for watching.